goal line, over the end line even, and that's going to be a goal kick to Newcastle United.
Well, that's where, Bruno again had all he had to do is give it to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw had made a long overlap, and he didn't give it to him. He's tried the most difficult pass to a player that was in an offside position. He's tried to hook it while he's on the move.
Good play by Saint-Maximin and Alexander Isak again over on that far side, but the pass is loose again from Saint-Maximin. Recovered though by Bruno Guimaraes. Will find Joe Linton. On the left sideline is the maverick Saint-Maximin, who's running at Anthony again. Finds Joe Linton square. To his right is Bruno. That's a brilliant ball. In behind is Trippier. Cuts it back. David De Gea palms away into danger. No one is there in black and white to turn the ball home. And since the offside flag has gone up against Kieran Trippier.
I'm still trying to work out why Bruno's having a go at the assistant. The assistant has flagged offside, but Bruno's having a go because he never flagged early. Bruno didn't even know where Trippier was, by the way. Very, very fortunate, by the way. Trippier's has tried to. It was a good run. It was well seen as well. And when we're talking, it was really, really close as well.
He's about as off as Casemiro was on for the opening goal. It's very, very close.
He's the biggest threat for Newcastle, Trippier.
All game long. But no one in the box to really aim for at these moments, are there? Where was he going to put that ball? There were so many red shirts in there to try and navigate, and of course the goalkeeper as well.
We have to say, when you're looking at Newcastle, you're looking for that kind of creativity. I'm not seeing anything at this moment in time. As good as their Bruno is, he hasn't got that cutting edge in certain ways what a Bruno Fernandes has got.
We are at 73 minutes, 2-0. Big lob forward towards Callum Wilson, away by Varane, recovered by Fabian Schär, who loves to drive forward, but he drives into Marcel Sabitzer, who has won it back brilliantly, and he'll find Marcus Rashford here! Great save by Loris Karius. Rashford went early, it was on target, it was low, but Karius equal to it. Another great save from Newcastle's number 3 goalkeeper. Maybe more work here as Shaw is driving forward in the penalty area. His pass across is blocked on its way through to Anthony. And it's a throw-in now to Manchester United on this near side as Bruno Fernandes riles up the crowd with the Red Devils not far away now from Carabao Cup glory.
It needed Luke Shaw there to be selfish. He should have gone with that, his right foot. He's tried to be unselfish, give it to Anthony, and then I think Dan Burn comes in and gets in between them, but he should have really have gone on his own there, Luke Shaw. He's made a great driving run forwards.
Shaw's throw into Sabitzer, who's won it back again. Here's Sabitzer with the effort. In the D on the edge of the penalty area, got underneath it. With a man brought in from Bayern during the transfer window in January. Brought in to replace the energy, commitment, guile of Christian Eriksen, so missed here at Manchester United. And very nearly supplied an Eriksen-esque finish there, but that went over the top. United fans keeping the ball away from Loris Karius as well behind that goal.
I think as well they were reminding him that he lived in Liverpool at some point during his lifetime.
Yes, I think unfortunately for him he remembers. But he's been very good today. All the talk of Loris Karius, and it's understandable why we would talk about him. The save from Weghorst, the save there from Rashford. Without him it could easily be 4-0 to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Wonder whether he might fancy playing some football again at some time soon after this. Ball breaks into Callum Wilson, and there's a chance here for Newcastle in the penalty area right hand side. He's up against Varane, he wants someone to pass to, straight to Shaw, as the black and white shirts were driving forward to support their striker. That's rather the story of it today for Newcastle. Every time they've got into a dangerous situation, they've not been able to execute, and Manchester United have. It's the Red Devils trying to play the ball around the centre circle here, but their one-touch passing sees it one on the far side by Bruno, not for long. He's been battling here on the far side with McTominay and Anthony to try and keep it on. It's a Man United ball. 75 gone, 15 to play, 2-0 to Manchester United here in the Carabao Cup final. Tom Rennie and Paul Parker with you. Dan Burn, good cover challenge there on McTominay, who was driving down the right sideline. And Paul, we're in those minutes now where everyone in the west side of Wembley is starting to think it's our day.
Yeah, I think they are. If you're a Newcastle fan, you'll be very, very disappointed with this second half. They haven't done enough. You wouldn't believe they're 2-0 down the way they've gone at it second half. No drive at all.
Just at the moment it feels a bit like Newcastle are running out of steam in the game and maybe in the season as well. as Rashford is forced out of the penalty area by good Newcastle defending. Forward though from Casemiro to Anthony, then Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka then bundles Bruno Guimaraes to the ground, and that's a free kick which goes Newcastle United's way, which they're desperate to get on with. So much so they've thrown it a good 5-8 yards away from where the foul was actually done. The referee doesn't care though. Bit of sympathy there from David Coote, the referee for Newcastle, who are certainly frustrated. A goal would change everything, get them back in this game. It could set us up for a terrific final 10 minutes or so here at Wembley Stadium, but at the moment it just doesn't feel likely. The third Manchester United goal is what feels like more on the cards. There's Bruno Fernandes into Sabitzer. Again, Sabitzer with the effort. It's blocked on its way through by Cher, picked up by Rashford. Back to goal by the corner flag. Recycles it to Bruno Fernandes, the captain, who may be lifting that trophy soon. Shaw up against Joe Linton. And Fernandes down the line to Rashford. He's away from a couple, but in the end it's a combination of Joe Linton, Trippier and Almiron who win it back. Joe Linton to Bruno back towards Botman, and they go long here towards Saint-Maximin. He might get this, David De Gea is going to come a long way, and the skid of the surface just favoured the goalkeeper before Saint-Maximin, and it's lobbed into the crowd over on that far side.
Yeah, that was a little bit of concern. Already saw there that Wan-Bissaka had gone forwards. He'd pushed on a bit, and the space was there, and I'll tell you what, we're talking about half a yard. That was the difference.
Changes here for Newcastle United, and they're taking off Alan Saint-Maximin here, which is an odd one for me.
It doesn't matter. He's a threat. He's a big threat.
He's been the biggest threat in the game for Newcastle. Yeah. He's coming off for Jacob Murphy. And Joe Willock is coming on as well. And he's going to replace Bruno Guimaraes here, who did seem to pick up a bit of a knock at some point during the game. Well, I can see why you might want to freshen things up a little bit, but Alan Saint-Maximin has been, I think, Newcastle's best player by some margin today. Certainly most threatening player. We can have a debate about best. So that's an odd one there for me, for Eddie Howe.
I'm sure that a lot of the Newcastle fan, Bruno coming off would have deflated a lot of them, because they put so much on him.
Well, Willock on, so crucial to keeping Newcastle in the Premier League last season with that goal-scoring run, and Murphy long throw for Newcastle comes to nothing, and Newcastle are under real pressure here as Manchester United break away with Bruno Fernandes. Tries outside of the right boot pass around the defender to Rashford. Deflection on its way through from Trippier allows Loris Karius to come off his line and recover the ball for the Magpies.
And Trippier's really made up a lot of ground there to get his toe to it. He's done really well. We have to talk about him maybe being the actual best player for Newcastle.
Yeah, I think you're right. Certainly continuing to have an impact at both ends here. Kieran Trippier, as Murphy with some nice footwork gets away from Casemiro, takes him on the outside too, tries a cross. That's good play from the man who's just come on, Murphy. It's a corner kick to Newcastle United as we head into the 80th minute now. The score is 2-0 to Manchester United. Newcastle have only had one shot on target in the game.
Yeah, I mean, United haven't played well this half. Manchester United haven't played well, but Newcastle haven't done enough to even warrant even getting anything out of this game, because they just have not shown enough drive or any ambition to get anything back in the game.
Corner's low and poor. That could be a penalty, It's been won by Bruno Fernandes in the penalty area, but a Newcastle player has gone down under challenge. There are shouts of penalty as Manchester United break. Bruno Fernandes through to Marcus Rashford, intercepted by the sliding challenge of Murphy.
I'm looking at the Newcastle players. They haven't even really gone at it, to be honest.
It's Isak driving forward down the right hand side, running at Martinez, running at Casemiro. I wanted to see a replay to see which Newcastle player went down. I think it may have been Fabian Cher, who just nicked it off the toe of Bruno Fernandes and went to ground. Isak running forward, challenge on him by Martinez, breaks to Kieran Trippier. Back to Isak again, lets the ball roll across his body, gets away from Bruno Fernandes, not away from Casemiro though. One back by Joe Linton, who finds a pass left to Willock, bit of space. Approaching the offensive third from the left. Takes McTominay on the outside in the penalty area, blocked by Wan-Bissaka, and it's a corner kick to Newcastle United.
I have to say their substitutions have made a little bit of a difference for them. There's a little bit more drive about them. Willock on one side, Murphy on the other.
supporting Isak and Wilson, who have made odd bedfellows as a front two. Just seeing the replay, Paul, that penalty shout, it was Cher and Bruno Fernandes. No chance?
No chance. It's not a penalty. He's gone down. He's just thrown himself to the floor. We've seen the manager and assistant manager running around.
Corner whipped in, it's cleared away. And it's been missed by Willock, and Anthony is carrying Manchester United upfield, and he's got the pace here to try and get around Murphy, but Murphy's done really well to win it back. Not for long though, as Anthony nearly nicks it again, but the referee is going to give a free kick Newcastle United's way, much to the sweet relief of the two Newcastle substitutes there, who nearly got caught out by Anthony's pressing. And that will be the end of Anthony's game. In fact, at Wembley Stadium, he is now being withdrawn for Jadon Sancho for the final few minutes here.
One thing about Anthony is that he still hasn't got anywhere near the value of what's been paid for him, but his work rate off the ball is really, really good, I must say. He goes back, no one has to ask him to track back. He won the ball back as well. I think he was involved in the goals from winning the ball back, so he's done a good job on that side. Anthony
brought in for just over £80 million. He is being replaced here by Jadon Sancho, himself bought for 73 million from Borussia Dortmund, so that's 150 million pounds worth of substitution there. Something currently, despite being owned by the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, Newcastle United just do not have in reserve. I wonder what this final might be like in 3 years from now. As Wilson desperately dives for a free kick over on the far side, not given from Martinez's challenge. Forward ball to Bruno Fernandes, intercepted by Joe Willock. Newcastle have it again. We're in the 84th minute at Wembley Stadium. Very ragged second half from both teams, really. And the game felt won, and so both have kind of just... United have shut down, and Newcastle have not had the attacking intent and quality to score.
That's exactly right. That's how it's been. The onus was on Newcastle to bring something to the table, and they haven't done that at all. Not showing enough. United have been Manchester United have been sloppy when they've tried to go forward at the end.
Here's Trippier, bit of space on the right hand side. If anyone's going to do it for them, it'll be him. Back to Murphy. Takes Casemiro on the outside and takes a drive at goal. A swinger. Perfectly set up for him to hit it across the goalkeeper. All he does is hit it across the stand. Long way from goal. And that's a goal kick for Manchester United, which they are going to be in no rush to take. And Paul, I mean, we've still got plenty of time to go here. A good 5 minutes for Newcastle to try and do something, but it doesn't feel like it, does it?
It doesn't. I don't know where it's coming from. Their biggest threat they've taken off. He's the one who's causing problems. Sometimes he looks a threat to himself when you see him play. He has those moments, but Newcastle have lost that edge of him, really, and he's taken a lot away. Then they lose there, Bruno as well. He comes off, and they haven't got anything. They've got no creativity. There's still a lot of work for Newcastle to do, but up until this point, you must say they've had a decent season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Still in the race for the Champions League. Made a cup final. Plenty to look forward to for Newcastle United. Plenty to enjoy in the short term as well. Out of the FA Cup, beaten by Sheffield Wednesday, the only other team to beat them this season apart from Liverpool in that FA Cup match at Hillsborough. Here's Alexander Isak driving forward there, trying to get something later in this game to give us that grandstand finish. Cross from Dan Burn on the left. That's a corner kick for Newcastle United. 85th minute, 2-0 they trail.
I tell you what, he's come on the pitch, Wan-Bissaka. I think he's made more blocks than anybody.
Been superb.
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant.
Doing a Parker in 92, some would say. Not me.
Ooh.
Not me.
Ooh.
Others would say it.
Harsh.
Corner comes in, it's punched away on the goal line from David De Gea. No pressure on him, he's able to get the ball a long way away from goal as well to Almiron, diagonal chip. Joe Linton jumping, Joe Linton shooting, blocked on its way through by Manchester United bodies. And Jadon Sancho can pick it up over on the far side. Held up by Murphy. First time forward, cross field. That's a superb sweep out on the left-hand side to man of the moment, Marcus Rashford, who had a goal stolen off him earlier on. Trying to score one here. His crossfield pass was poor. Picked up here by Sancho. Back to Rashford again. Rashford, penalty area, left-hand side, wants to find Sancho. Here he is now, Jadon Sancho shifts, Wan-Bissaka shoots on target, but it bobbles through to Loris Karius, who makes the save on the goal line.
He didn't really strike it properly. He was more concerned about, I think, Jacob Murphy looking to close him down. He was more worried about the follow-through and maybe kicking his boots.
Here he is again, the modern-day Paul Parker. Aaron Wan-Bissaka going to ground with a superb challenge on Joe Willock over on the far side. And we spoke about Newcastle's best player. I think maybe Aaron Wan-Bissaka has been Man United's best player. He's only played 45 minutes.
I know, I think you're right as well. He's come on, he has not put a foot wrong.
It's a poor challenge there from Casemiro. And he'll get his, surely, weekly booking here for that late challenge there on Joe Linton. He will. It's a yellow card for the man who scored the first goal in this game. The Real Madrid legend Casemiro, about to win his first trophy in English football. Barring something spectacular here from Newcastle, whose fans have not gone home. Sometimes in cup finals at this point, there is a smattering of empty seats, but you can barely see one in Wembley Stadium right now in either end, which is credit to Newcastle United, whose supporters have travelled a long way to be here for the first time this millennium. Trippier's delivery in, flick towards goal, second header won by Cher, third is a volley away by Rashford. Picked up by Willock, who can drive forward, no one's near him, so he takes a driving goal! Oh, it's just wide.
He was rooted to the spot, by the way, De Gea.
De Gea didn't expect it, nor did he see it. That could easily have gone into the bottom corner. It just goes wide, and Manchester United here, having survived that scare, are so comfortable and so confident of victory. Not only are they taking off Marcus Rashford here, but Paul Parker, we are also going to see Harry Maguire make a rare appearance for Manchester United.
And does anybody want to take a guess the reasons behind Harry Maguire coming on?
Because it'll be the first trophy of his career, and he's still the club captain, and he's still really good.
I'm going to take two of them.
Which one? Which one? No, is he not the captain anymore?
Yeah, he's still the club captain.
Okay. Well,
yeah. But he's put him on
a shop window
to lift the cup.
Well, yeah, maybe. Much maligned character for some Manchester United fans, but he's still England's best centre-half, and I think maybe at another club there'll be a revival for Maguire. I'm sure there'll be no shortage of takers in the summer, but right now to try and get in front of Varane, Martinez, or even Luke Shaw, apparently not so easy. Ball's gone out of play here, and the Man United fans are keeping it again. We've not got the multi-ball going on as we do in the Premier League, and so United fans are able to slow things down here as Newcastle try and get on with it. Getting a bit desperate. Trippier's throw intercepted by McTominay. Sancho then challenged by Willock, who's had a good impact since coming on. Chops away from Sancho and finds Byrne outside. Back towards now Cher and Botman. Forward towards Joe Linton. Heavy pass. Casemiro forward. Well read by Miguel Almiron. Still full of running. Is there a pass forward for him? Desperate for one. There isn't one. Has to go square to Joe Linton in the end. Here is Joe Linton driving forward. Almiron, shuffle and pass, trying to find Murphy. Well read by Shaw. Can they break here, Manchester United? Sancho is the target of this pass. Only one defender to try and get around, but there's no way around the presence of Sven Botman. Sancho in a heap on the ground. Newcastle play on as we get to the 90th minute. There's Trippier on the right hand side, midway inside Manchester United territory. Willock, Cher, Trippier, right footed cross, doesn't find Wilson. Will it break through him again? Martinez gets his body in the way. Wilson runs into him, then Martinez goes to ground. Wilson then has a couple of rolls as well before getting up for a little square up here with Martinez, and there'll be 5 minutes added on at the end of the 90 as we watch this little ruckus here on the end line between Lisandro Martinez and Callum Wilson.
I think Callum Wilson has gone at him after.
Martinez again certainly made a little bit of a meal of whatever it was he feels like happened to him. Newcastle making further changes here. Almiron being withdrawn. On comes number 32, Elliot Anderson. And Callum Wilson's also being withdrawn here. So Almiron and Wilson off. Anderson is on. So difficult to see the numbers on the back of the shirts at Newcastle. It's red lettering on a black and white stripe. It's Matt Ritchie, the other player to come on, the veteran. There we go.
I forgot all about him being there.
Here he is. Matt Ritchie is on, and Man United's fans away to our left have all started lifting their scarves given to them by the club before the game. As Newcastle fans were given flags, and we asked before the game, what would you rather, scarves or flags? Well, I think we found out that scarves is the answer. They're all being lifted around the west side of Wembley. All quiet over in the east at the moment. 5 minutes added on. Newcastle desperate to do something or get them back in this game. Sabbats has given a free kick away here. Trippier again has got a chance to try and deliver. Everyone is forward but Karius. Murphy is now having a walk back towards the centre circle. These really haven't worked today, so Trippier will walk away, and Matt Ritchie, who's just come on, will whip this in from the left-hand side. This is it. Flick towards goal! Saved by De Gea, turned back towards goal, and then cleared away by Maguire. It was a chance maybe at the back post to get them back in the game following the initial flick. It seemed like he made a bit of a mess of it there, David De Gea. As the Newcastle United fans now do start waving their flags away to our right. They're still happy to be here, and they still know that big things are coming.
He's done really well, David De Gea, just to keep that away. He did push it into trouble though, but if he doesn't get there, it's a goal.
Well, both fans making this a terrific end of game atmosphere here. The Newcastle fans delighted to be back at Wembley, and I don't think it'll be another 20 plus years before they're here again, with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia money coming into the club. The Manchester United fans, regulars at Wembley Stadium, and there's a chance here as they've lost it here. Newcastle, McTominay has won it, and Bruno Fernandes is bearing down on goal. Bruno Fernandes is in here, dummies, Bruno Fernandes to wrap it up. It's a great save by Loris Karius, as he just waited a bit too long to get the shot away, and it really has been a day of redemption for Loris Karius as well, who has certainly rebuilt his reputation on a big stage here with yet another brilliant save, this time from Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, well, I mean, the end of it could have been 5, couldn't it, really? The saves he's gone and made, so that word redemption definitely comes out.
In no rush at all to take this corner. In truth, this game has been over for a long time here at Wembley Stadium, and Manchester United are on the verge of their first trophy of the Erik ten Hag era. It'll be their 6th in this competition, and their first since 2017. And in truth, it's been a walk in the park for them. It feels like the old Manchester United, which is ominous for everybody else.
Many things have been built off a lesser trophy, and there's a great chance now for Ten Hag to get things going after this win today.
Still in the Europa League, Manchester United following victory over Barcelona. Still in the FA Cup, game against West Ham at Old Trafford in midweek, who seem to face each other every year in the FA Cup, and are still in the title race as well, despite Arsenal's victory yesterday over Leicester City. Not an insurmountable gap, with still a third of the season to go. The business end is coming, and United already going to be entering that period with a trophy in that bulging cabinet once again. Free kick from Man United here. And Lisandro Martinez has annoyed Fabian Schär, who's run a long way to give him a shove in the back. Luke Shaw has then grabbed him by the throat. Never go full Casemiro, that could be an issue for Luke Shaw. And Lisandro Martinez has very much got under the skin of Fabian Schär here, who's lost his cool with the Man United defender. I'm not quite sure why he's so annoyed with him. He's going to be getting a yellow card here, and I just wonder whether Luke Shaw could be in some trouble for grabbing him by the throat. Schär is still chasing him, you know. That's all come to an end, and still Fabian Schär is after Lisandro Martinez, who's trying to walk away. Martinez given a yellow card for reasons he can't quite understand, as is Fabian Schär, who is desperate to try and get after him. I thought I'd tell you, whatever the original altercation was there, I didn't quite see it.
I didn't see anything now.
It's a free kick here to Manchester United, the final seconds of this Carabao Cup final. Bruno Fernandes over it down the line here to Jadon Sancho. And there's the full-time whistle. And it's the first trophy of the Erik ten Hag era at Manchester United. Their first trophy since Jose Mourinho was here back in 2017. Tough day for Newcastle. That long trophy drought continues. Their fans and players have done them proud today and this season, but it's not their day. It's the day of Erik ten Hag. It's the day of Manchester United. It's like the old days. That is very ominous for everybody else. They are still in the mix for the Europa League, having beaten Barcelona. They are still in the FA Cup with West Ham to come in midweek to try and book a place in the quarter-final. They are still, oh yes they are, in the title race with Arsenal and Manchester City, and they go into those games having lifted the first domestic trophy of this season, beating Newcastle comfortably in the end by 2-0 at Wembley Stadium. Casemiro and what will go down as a Botman own goal, not a Rashford goal, in the first half. 6th League Cup /